Square Hammer.
What is up, Square Hammers? What is up, YouTube? We have about 6 articles to go through from GW's. I want some echo. There you go. To go through. Uh, might even do a couple little quiz questions. I don't know if y'all have ever seen this, but this is, I believe, was 5th edition. It says published in 2007. What edition was 2007? This is definitely before 6th edition. It's a bunch from the Black Library. A whole bunch of very in-depth lore questions written by Adam Troke. First off, I wanted to say RIP to a very awesome person who basically inspired most of us. Let's get it up. 1 second. Where are you at? I think it's this one. Yeah. RIP to Brian. He was basically one of the co-founders of not basically was, but he was a co-founder of Citadel. Awesome guy. You've probably seen his picture. It's been all over like the old world's Facebook pages and stuff, where he's like sitting like this, and he's got like a mullet and everything. He's got his army right in front of him. Awesome. So a lot of his miniatures were what everyone basically started with. So RIP to him. I hope he got to read some of the rules that were coming out. But yeah, okay. So firstly, we're going to start with the article "Discover Bretonia, a land of chivalry and honor." Would anyone like to watch the video? You want to watch it with me? We can talk as we're going. Let's watch the video. Honor. Let's see what we got. I like that artwork. Like, it's great. Her. Rohirrim! Those knights. I agree. That's old art. One of my favorites. By the lady. Ugh. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. For the lady! Awesome. The first time I watched that, got a little bit of chills. I agree, Portuguese. I think it should have had a French accent. That would have been sweet. What's up, Richard? From England? What's up, UK? How's it going, dude? Hey, Andrew. Good evening, brother. Okay, so this article talks about a little bit about the lore. I believe this is when the Errantry Crusade, at least I was listening to a podcast. I had a long drive this weekend, and this is when the Errantry Crusade might be announced. What's his name? Orc Slayer? I can't remember his first name. It's leaving me right now. So it's basically this article is basically talking about the history of Bretonia. This is a very brief overview, talking about Uthlon, how it fell, how the elves came over, was like trading and stuff. One of the first kings. Yes, 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 yes. So this is when they free. Okay, yep. Free from the domination of orcs, beastmen, and other foul creatures. This is, I believe, the Errantry Crusade is what he's talking about. This is when I think one unit of Grail Knights went through like thousands of orcs by themselves. I believe it is that fluff. Yep. Coming to Grail Knight. Now I assume the Green Knight will still be in this edition since they have released the the image of him multiple times. So he was the first to encounter the lady, and drink from the chalice to become a Grail Knight. Now, I believe he is what some people theorize is still the Green Knight, and he's testing. He's still like trying to make sure people are worthy. I don't know. We'll see. So here we have the chivalric code, the code chivalric. Excuse me. So serve the Lady of the Lake, defend the land and all who dwell upon it, protect the weak from the wicked, oppose the enemies, to always oppose the enemies of virtue and order, to never give up the fight, your foes unvanquished, to never break faith with a friend or ally, and to always display honor and courtesy. Well, I think all those apply for a knight, unless you're a peasant of of Bretonia, and then it's just like whatever. If you break faith with a peasant, it's probably not too lowly looked upon. Courtesy to peasants, I don't think the knights have that, at least overall. But that's what's up, Saphian, Brother Blue. What's up? Okay, so here we talked about Athaloran and the Wood Elves. So as y'all might know, if you look at Athaloran, might be opposite to you, but Athaloran is right here, just a small forest, and Bretonia is basically all, except for the mountains right here, is all up against the Wood Elves. So the Wood Elves have waystones basically marking like, don't come in here or you're going to get messed up. Even if you get kind of close to those waystones, you can still have an arrow come through the eye or something. So let's see. Bretonia's eastern flank. I know there's a lot of Pegasus next to the Wood Elf Kingdom. Descendants of those who once ruled the coast of the old world now dwell in the hidden realm of Athaloran. Wait, what does it say? Of course, they are the descendants of those who once. Oh yeah, for the High Elves, duh. For the High Elves that went into Athaloran, no problem. I think they've actually allied with Bretonia a couple times, a couple battles, just to push back undead, if I'm not mistaken. Not really chaos. I don't think the Wood Elves really ventured out in chaos. Obviously, I'm excluding the end times because I don't really consider that. Let's see. Have y'all read these articles? Have y'all read these articles already? Among the many mysteries of the land of chivalry is the Green Knight. Appears, yep, obviously you appear to a questing knight, and then the questing knights gather up all their stuff as much as they can fit on the back of a horse in like a little wardrobe, and then they go on a quest to find the lady, drink from the chalice, and become a Grail Knight themselves. Get blessed. Da 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 da. For some, he is the end of their quest as they prove unworthy and fall to his blade. So if you're a questing knight and you somehow go against probably the chivalric code, maybe once, maybe twice, I'm sure the Green Knight has his own parameters, but the Green Knight might just show up and sing and just end you. That's pretty sweet. That would suck. Like if you're a Bretonian knight, you're probably a Knight of the Realm, or a Knight Errant, get to the Knight of the Realm, and then after that you get visited and you decide to go on a quest, and then after all of the struggles and strife that you've been through, you mess up one too many times. Maybe you fall to chaos a little bit, or some kind of temptations, and the Green Knight shows up and just kills you. Oh, that would be so bad. Okay. So yeah, they think he's champion of the lady spirit, or yep, there he is. Okay, so it is cool that the Green Knight's coming back. Did they release a new model for him? I don't think they did. The only one they showed was just a really well painted one. Present day. So here is another instance where they actually specify the year. So it's 2276. I think at the end, I think it's the end of the century is when the Errantry Crusade starts. No. It's like middle through the next century. I think that's the Great War Against Chaos, if I remember right. Someone tell me if that's correct or not. Silly manlings. Well, I don't know if you saw that, well, I guess basically there's a picture going around of some dice that might have to do with stunties. That was going around. Someone did share that. 14. Okay, so what is this? The mighty Tomb King Settra, the Imperishable's assault. So I don't know if y'all know Settra's background too much, but basically he was a high king back in the day of Nehekhara, and before Nagash did his little poison and like killed everyone. He was a very high king, and everyone bowed to Settra. He built, I think it's the largest pyramid. Um, but then Nagash. This was before everyone was undead, when they were actually just, I guess, Egyptians, whatever, Nehekarans. Um, but Nagash, who discovered necromancy, decided to. He was like, I want to be in control of everyone. I'm tired of y'all resisting me, and we're gonna do this huge incantation and kill everyone. Kind of like what you could think of the D&D movie that came out, which was pretty decent. Basically, the spell turns everyone to undead, and or kills everyone, and then it raises everybody. The problem Nagash didn't expect was all the kings, all the past people, not just the ones who were currently in the city, all died. So, right? And then they all rose. So all the old kings, all the old princes, all the old priests, basically everyone that was ever a Nikaran buried in that land arose. So let's see. Centra, Assault on the Border Princes. Well, if I remember right, the Tomb Kings mostly they don't venture out of their land very much, other than to recover stolen stuff. So are they actually trying to conquer lands? The ancient warlands. Sir Cecil Gaston, the Worm Slayer. Even as he prepares to face the Nikaran hordes, allies led by the Duke of Brion, one of blah blah blah. Okay, so it looks like the Tomb Kings are trying to come out a little bit in the old world and assault the Border Princes, which is basically the buffer zone in between. So you have the Border Princes, then you have the Badlands, then you have basically the Tomb Kings. So I guess Settra has pushed through the Badlands and is heading up to the Tomb Kings, or sorry, to the Border Princes. Okay, interesting. And some Bretonians are coming to ride and kill him. Okay, interesting article. A little bit of lore. Next, the noble history of the Tomb Kings of Khemri. All right, let's watch this together. The dead. Nile crocodile.
Armies and grim hordes without number, ancient and vengeful, the Tomb Kings of the southern deserts have awoken from untold ages of slumber, filled with the wrath of the cheated. Generations of mighty rulers were promised an eternity of glory, but instead found themselves imprisoned between life and death. Now, vast legions of skeletal soldiers rise from beneath the arid sands of ancient Nehekhara, called by the incantations of lich priests, the immortal ritualists of the Tomb Kings. These undead armies slaughter any foolish enough to intrude on the distant reaches of their forgotten empire, while their masters seek to once more expand their borders, marching forth to conquer the living world of legend. Woe betide those who think the time of the Tomb Kings has passed.
Okay, so I guess they are coming out of their lands. Let's see. Mute that. Okay. So Nehekhara was at the height of its power. They were little more the hunter-gatherers and sorry. Basically Egypt, and there's so many theories going around about Egypt right now of how it was so much more advanced than actually we perceive it to be. Yeah, okay. Mortuary cult. So based on this, I think the mortuary cult, let's see, make sure y'all can see it. This had more to do with, this is what's keeping the people, or re-raising the undead. So In Nehekara, I believe the lore, and hopefully, I don't know if it speaks to it here specifically, but basically, they're re-raising the undead that are destroyed in battle. So you're not, like, if Empire dies, like an Empire States troop dies in the Tomb King's land, they're not raising him to become, like, a Tomb King soldier. So basically, if a chariot gets destroyed and the horses die and the crew are dead, the Moray cult, basically the priest will re-raise them, reassemble their bones with their magic. So they're not actually adding new troops. You can kind of think of it, in my opinion, it's like the Necrons, right? For 40k, the Necrons, they can disassemble, but they can reassemble, but they're not current. Are they making new Necrons? I guess the new Necron fluff is a little different from what I'm used to, but basically old Necrons, think that they're not making new ones really. They're just all the ones that are there in their pyramids, and there you go. Let's see, anything? The armies of the Tomb Kings. The risen monarchs demand armies. Oblige, raising long dead warriors. Oh, let's let y'all see it. Chariots, blah, blah, blah. Tomb Kings have always had badass chariots. That has been one of their main focus. Chariots and monsters, basically. Now, this art, I think, is from the End Times. Is that right? Good night, Richard. Tomato. A horse is only good for eating? What is that from? Okay. I think that's an End Times thing, because that Tomb Guard, I guess that's a Tomb Guard. He has a lot more armor and is a lot thicker than the current models. But so is this chariot. That chariot is super fancy. Maybe they're making a new chariot model. I mean, that'd be cool. Just for like characters or a BSB or something. Because those are heavily barded. And the ones they have out, and even in the ones in the box that they're releasing, no barding whatsoever. War in the Border Princes. Let's see, y'all can see it. Okay. When a crusade from the upstart Kingdom Bretonia dared to enter Nakar, okay, look. Hey, look at that. They steal treasures from the tomb, and you wake up the tomb. Good job, idiots. Like, why would Bretonia? That seems pretty stupid for a Bretonian crusade to do, is to venture into a sleeping kingdom and try and, well, I guess it wasn't sleeping here. They stroked down one of Setra's most trusted lieutenants. But you could raise him back if you had the right power. So I guess it's weird. Gather mighty host of the dead, blah, blah, blah. Badlands and lost. Yeah, okay. So Setra's like, you come and kill one of my best lieutenants? Well, we're going to come to you. It's like, I've seen a lot of Tony, the Sopranos clips. So basically you kill one of Tony's lieutenants and they're going to have to strike back. Let's see. Like, this is good art. This reminds me, if it was in black and white, I think you would mimic the old art very well. I like the color too. I like color, but I've always been pulled more towards black and white photos. Don't know why. It's just when I used to do art, it was always black and white or just a pencil and I would just shade, but that looks great. I still don't like the wings though. We shall see. Okay. Many upstart enemies dare to stand in the way of this vengeful host, including the High Elves, which are probably on the coast, at the Tower of Anrock, and the Orc and Goblin tribes of the Badlands. Okay, so yeah, so Cetra is basically on its way to the Border Princes, trying to cleave through some High Elves and Orcs, which is basically what I said earlier, so that makes sense. Okay, cool. Prepare to enter the world of legend. So I'm going to make it so y'all can hear it this time. Hopefully you should be able to. So if I play this, y'all can hear this? Hear the video? Yes?
Welcome to This Week in Warhammer. My name's Lewis, and it's time to take a look at what's happening in your favourite hobby over the next 7 days. We're returning to the world of legend this week with some long-awaited releases for Warhammer The Old World. New box sets for the Kingdom of Bretonia and Tomb Kings of Khemri provide players with an army in a box alongside the complete Warhammer The Old World rulebook. Both editions are packed with all the rules and accessories you'll need to start playing games of Warhammer The Old World right away.
But not the army books.
But that's not all, as there's loads more marching alongside those box sets. Recruit reinforcements for both your Bretonians and Tomb King forces, with loads of classic boxers coming back to fight once more, and some special new models too. Cavalry, infantry, monsters, and even some classic special characters are coming to pre-order on Saturday. Want to know how your models fight on the battlefield? Pre-order the Forces of Fantasy and Ravening Hordes books to start planning your army, as well as Arcane Journals for Bretonia and Tomb Kings to get even more lore and rules for these factions. There's plenty of accessories too, with dice sets, square and rectangular bases, card packs, a map, and movement trays.
Let's go back for a second. Let's go back. Let's look at this. So we've seen this. Yeah. Okay, so we have Tomb King dice. I can't really read that. That looks like, I guess that's Empire. Just says Warhammer the Old World dice set. So that's not specific to anything? Which makes sense because that's the color of the book. Okay. And then we have the Bretonia dice set. Why are the Bretonias just gray with black pits when they're like supposed to be a very colorful army? I don't really like that. Like, why not? I mean, you could do green for the Green Knight. You could do whatever color you think the lady is. Maybe it's because she wears white clothes. Not a huge fan of the gray. But obviously I like the blue, the turquoise gray, or blue, that's really nice. Blue and gold stands out. And Tomb King's obviously desert with their red bows and red spears and stuff. That makes total sense. What else we got? Okay, so here you can see they have cards for all the common magic items. You can see the movement trays. So every common magic item, so that means in the rule book there's going to have the common magic items, and I would assume that in the, maybe not in the Arcane Journal itself, but maybe the expansions, they will have the, like the Armies of Infamy, all that stuff, they'll have extra magic items. Maybe you'll need cards for that too, I don't know. Hopefully there's more than 2 of these in the box. If y'all saw the price leak, I assume those are prices. Pre-orders in like 3 days. Hopefully that's more than just those 2. I don't know if many people are going to be buying these because it's just usually easier to just buy them now. You can hear? Good. Excellent. Goat man. Alright, let's see. Warhammer 40K. Yeah, I saw that they're doing like made-to-order stuff, which is cool. Now, this I'm interested in. I don't know if I'm going to get it immediately, but if it's going to sell out, then I might, just because it looks fancy. And for them to be releasing, it's like all the 40K and Adeptus Titanicus Forge World books. If they're that nice, then they're probably worth it. Just a preview. Okay, so we can go back. That looks good. Let's see. We've seen this. I think most everyone has seen this one already. Basically, just the Bretonnian box set. That's 1,250 points. You get a bunch of things. You get 36 guys. 6, 12, 18, 36. 36 of them. I think 24, 12. It is interesting that I think it's the same amount of points. So they're each 1,250. This guy must be pricey because there's obviously the spearmen and archers have got to be pretty cheap. I still think only buy one of these boxes just because it's a good buy overall, just to get the rule book and everything you need. Because buying 2 of these boxes, you don't need all that cavalry. I don't think horses, basically Tomb King horses have never been good. If they're good now, great. Chariots are nice, more chariots. Hopefully they do release things per box, like just 3 chariots, or maybe just a block of 20 spearmen or something. Everyone's seen these already. Everyone's seen this already. Everyone's seen this. Okay, so they're just showing the same. Look at these old models, but they're great. I love them. I have like 18, I think, or 24 of these fellas. Now this is what's cool. This made me happy. I posted about this because I was like, what? Look right here. Metal. Hi, Crusader. What's up, dude? Hi, everybody. We got 17 people watching. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me. I'm just here talking about the old world. Like, okay, let's go. Now, as you can see, it's just 3 metal Grail Knights in. Is it going to be a blister? Or is it going to be like one of the old, I don't know if y'all remember the small boxes that they used to sell It was like 5 executioners or 5 like Longbeard command or 5 greatsword command. Is it just going to be a box that small, like those little teeny ones that are like so and so big? Is that what they're going to do for these? 3. I assume you all saw the prices that were there. It's expensive, but I think that's about what they're going for on eBay. More metal models. Yes. A lot of people don't like metal. They prefer plastic or resin. I think those people are crazy. I love pewter. I feel like it's going to hold their value longer period. I guess you could say that, but then obviously they're re-releasing these. I don't remember what they showed for the prices of these, but it's metal and I need more of them. I think I have 2, maybe 3 units, but I need the shields. I've lost shields over time. That's just what happens because they snap off kind of easily. Doesn't take much, but so 9 different models. I don't know if that's all the variants of them. 9 of them. I'll have to go check. But same with the Grail Knights. There's no way, the ones that sold for like $150 or $200 each. I think it's the Cook and the one with the book on the sword. No, those are Questing Knights. I'm not sure which Grail Knights are actually the rare ones. I was thinking Questing. So hopefully they come out with Questing Knights again. Just for eBay to drop in price on some of those things. Battle Pilgrims and the Grail Reliquary. I had a buddy who was actually asking me, hey, do you have an extra Reliquary? And I think I do, but it might be missing the rider. So now I won't have to give him my extra one. Haha. I might have to buy another one myself. So the Yeomen, they had a ton of variants. It was like 10, 20. Peter, if you're listening, you could definitely comment. But they have a ton of variants. So I think they're probably just going to be these. As you can see here, it's just going to be 5 metal models on plastic horses. And then a separate command kit. So you can buy either these 5 or these 3. It's going to be a command kit, so they're definitely specifying that they are on or part of different boxes / blisters. I don't think they'll come out with blisters again. They might. I don't think so. But I think there'd just be like a small box of each. Maiden of the Lady. Very pretty model. Very well done. Lore of Life on some plants over here. Yep, we've seen all this. So you can see Forge World Resin. What is she? Is she plastic? Nope, Forge World Resin. I do plan to get at least one of each character. Just because. Like new Bretonians from GW. Okay. Even if I don't like them too much. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying even if I didn't. I would definitely purchase them. Just one. Maybe not the Questing Knight. What do y'all think? Maybe not the Questing Knights. Old World is going to happen at Nova with you. Andrew? Yeah, 100%. As long as everyone's cool with it. I don't want to be running the Old World if no one's going to play. So basically we have to wait to see for the rules to come out and for there to be enough of a player base. I expect there to be, just because it's GW, so a lot more people are going to hop on the train, which is great. But yeah, so I do plan to run the Old World at Nova. I don't think I'll run Warhammer's Armies Project. It really depends on, like I said, if people like the game and how many people I can run a tournament. Like, if for the Old World or WAP I can only get like 10 people, then I'm going to run the other one. Just makes sense to have the biggest thing that we can do. Let's go. Now, 1 second. We're going to have to mute you. Okay. Next. So here you can see the gray dice. There's a Kingdom of Bretonia reference card pack. Is it going to say what's in that? Let's see. We have the unique magic items, spells, and the knightly virtues. So I guess that's cool. It makes it easy for if you have multiple paladins or multiple barons and dukes. You can just say knightly virtues on this one and this one. You just have to keep them separate. I don't know if it's going to be too much clutter because if you have all these cards of the common magic items and the knightly virtues and the specific magic items and the spells, it seems like you're going to have a lot of cards on the table, which makes sense because that's what 40K kind of is doing now, where they have the entire army as your cards, but then obviously per game you only need a certain amount for what you actually have on the field. Metallic silver swirl dice with the fleur-de-lis. Don't know if I like the color. It seems kind of bland for Bretonia. Bretonia, usually their knights are very colorful. But you can see artillery and scattered ice are back, so that's good. So here's the Arcane Journal, where you can run the Armies of Infamy. I think that's what these are, for the Royal Host or the Mortuary Cult. So this one I assume would be mostly chariots or tomb guard and lots of like tomb kings and tomb princes, and then this one is a lot of the tomb priests and stuff raising hordes of their troops. Because just like in 8th edition, I'm guessing that monsters and characters can't be healed by like D3 or D6 wounds like you can with infantry. Same, it should just be 1, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about that one. It is great that they are doing tomb guard 20 per box. So it used to just be 10. I just opened one maybe a year ago. I think I built 10 more that I found. So 20 as a box are good. I don't know if y'all saw the prices, but basically $4 a tomb guard. That's freaking amazing. We got the stalkers. Those are the guys that like shot like a, I think it was a single shot, but it was D3 wounds. Sounds right. You're going to get Questing Knight. Oh, you're going to get the Questing Knight, the one on foot? Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm just going to get him too, just to have. He'll either count as a Questing Knight or a Paladin, you know. He'll go in. We'll see. Okay, so all the knights on foot that I have maybe 50 of the 3rd edition ones. So, but they're not painted yet. So I just can't decide if I'm going to get the new ones. The new ones are going to be much taller, like maybe 2 heads taller than the old 3rd edition ones. But I love the old 3rd edition ones from Citadel back in the day. And now you can buy them on War Games Foundry. I think that's what it is. Same sculpts. The only thing I think is different are the tabs at the bottom. Yeah. It's great that they're re-releasing these. These were amazing in 8th edition. People really liked these in 8th. They hit pretty hard, and then even in WAP, where you can make the one character that basically gives them like an extra armor save and maybe even regen, but then like in the unit that he is has like hatred and frenzy. So the Necrosphinx is coming back, which is cool, and this Lich Priest, I think he's the alternate build. If you don't build this as a Necrosphinx, you build it as a War Sphinx, and he was riding it. I think that's the case. So these two things, I think one of their attacks becomes like Heroic Killing Blow, which is pretty sweet. They had Stomp, and it's just a gorgeous model, honestly. Now this little Scorpion at the top here breaks very easily, so be careful if you're using that. Mine broke. Hey, look, here's the War Sphinx with the guy inside. Maybe I should just scroll down a little bit, huh? Or read it before. Nah, we ain't gonna do that. It's more fun to figure it out with y'all. So this is just like Magic Stone, basically. It's pretty sweet. So I built this one too, but I have Tomb Guard riding in it. And I think I have enough room so he can fit in it as well. But he has such a big scythe. I think it's a... that's a Tomb King. Oh, you know what? I always thought that was a Lich Priest with like such a huge halberd. I thought it was weird. Oh, it's a Tomb King. Okay. And then Cetra. I guess Cetra's coming back. And he's coming back as Pewter. Oh, that's such a bummer, because the one that I have is Fine Cast, because I could never find a Pewter one. So I don't know how much he is going to be, but I might have to rebuy him in Pewter, just because I've always preferred Pewter over Fine Cast / Resin. But maybe I could trade. Maybe someone buys our Pewter one, paints it up really well, at least to match the one that I have, and they prefer Fine Cast, so we did a little switch. Throwing that out there. That base looks huge, though. What? That does look massive. So I think he was on... He's 2 chariots wide back in the day, so he was 100. Is that bigger than 100? 100 by 150. It's pretty close. Okay. Lich Priest bringing this one back. Ushapti. Now, I think they're bringing these back in metal too. So, which is weird because they never released the bows in pewter ever. They only did resin. So it says these 2 metal kits, which is awesome. And of course, I bought 6 of them in resin or fine cast. So am I going to have to replace them? Maybe. So I have 6 resin ones. But if they're not bringing them back in resin, that means they might actually be worth more because for the people that actually that prefer it. Okay. Tomb King, this is the new one. He doesn't look super, like, obviously you can see his skeleton here, but they're not super undead. I guess it's because they were mummified and more well preserved. Makes sense. I don't really like the skin too much. It's like kind of reminds me of like Ghostbusters. You know, Ghostbusters, the one of the first ones they meet, the big flying green guy with the slime. Like, he looks a little, but that could just be me. Okay. Also resin, so he's in resin, not in pewter. The beautiful BSB. We've seen all these. Give me something new. Okay, here we go. Reference card and dice. So the same thing with Tomb Kings or Tomb Kings that Bretonia has. You're gonna have a lot of cards on the table. It might get a little cluttered, but just keep it organized, it'll be fine. I think these dice fit perfectly with the desert and the red from bows. This looks great. While you're at it, enhance your rolls with a set of 20 bone colored dice. The 18d6s have the Tomb King symbol. Okay, cool. Now, it was really cool to see that they have card sleeves. So they have the old world specific sleeves for the magic items and the lores of magic. I'm so glad they brought the lores back, but you would assume that this emblem, it's not just a sleeve, right? Let's see if it talks about it. It's gotta say it, right? Yeah, okay, great. So the old world logo, so this logo right here with all the weaponry and Galmaraz is actually on the sleeve. This isn't just the front of the package. So each of these emblems is on each sleeve. That's great. You might need to buy multiple sets of these, especially if you have multiple armies to cover each, like all the lores, all the common magic items, all the Tomb Kings, all the Bretonians, and whichever ones come out next. So that's a lot to do. Haha. So does this mean, since they're showing this, does this mean that there's no 20 millimeters? All the like 20 millimeters gone? They're not showing it here, right? Does that mean that they're not making it? From 25 millimeter, it seems like it. So does that mean nothing? Because you could see that the night goblins, those are on 25s, right? On some of the older pictures in the articles. So if a night goblin is on a 25, then I don't think anything's gonna be on 20 anymore. That makes sense. What'd you say? Y'all love metal? Me too, guys. Love it. What's up, zombie? What's up, Crusader? I already said hi. Hype. They used to come in 5. Oh yeah, the old boxes. 60 USD for 6? Maybe. Metal is definitely better. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh my gosh. Hey, Pat. So, one of the jokes we used to do, if you ever got pissed off at someone when you're playing Warhammer and you have a Steam Tank on the field, like, that is like, I don't know how much that weighs, but it's 3 pounds, probably. That is a hunk of metal. You could kill someone with that. No joke. But don't do that. I'm not talking about violence here. Let's see what else. Yeah, Ryan, right? You would think that the Bretonnian ones shouldn't be like gray like these bases right here. They should be, I don't know, let's say you have the Tomb Kings that are sandy. You have the Old World Witcher, the teal, turquoise, blue. You could do red, you could do green. Wouldn't do black or gray. Something vibrant, like some vibrant colors. Even if you did red, like the Bretonians that they've been showing, which are I think red or black. I think those are their 2 main colors that they've been previewing. Just do it red. Okay. But gray seems a little weird to me. I don't know. Maybe they ran out of ink. 20s are dead, right? Okay, Portuguese. Someone said something about... hold on. Where'd it go? You said it's the same sleeves they do for the Underworld? Okay, never played that. Mr. Hellbent, yeah, right? It's going to force people to buy like several stacks of them. They're going to run out of those very quickly. I doubt they're going to print enough to cover all the card packs that they actually make. So if those are available for pre-order, get as many as you can. I do suggest only getting. You could easily get 2 Bretonnian boxes and to be fine, because if that Pegasus guy can either be a BSB or a Duke, then buy them both. You have a full unit of 6 Pegasus Knights with a BSB and a character, so you have a unit of 8. Got a bunch of knights you can build as errant or realm, bunch of archers, bunch of halberdiers. The only thing you would need after buying 2 of those is probably a treb, maybe grail knights, maybe like basically all the side stuff. But you could easily buy 2 Bretonnian boxes and have a full army ready to go. The Tomb Kings one will be, in my opinion, a little bit lackluster, just because of the extra cavalry. But what do I know? I'm just an influencer, right, guys? Give me a break. Yeah, tons of metal figs with no slotted bases. Did they say they were going away? I must have missed that. There's no 60 by 60, which might mean it's going to be hard to put a slant in a unit of Temple Guard if they're going up to 30 millimeter. It's a good point. You couldn't put him on the... Actually, that's a good point. If the slant is on a 60 millimeter, what size do you put... Or sorry, if the Temple Guard are on 30 millimeter, what size do you put the slant on? Mathematically, there's nothing that fits obviously perfectly. A 60 by 60 would be the best for a slant. You couldn't do the 40 by 60, because especially if you have to use the new slant model, he's freaking massive. Yeah, blue and red, right? That would make perfect sense. I don't know. Blue and yellow. Yeah, that's fine too. Man, that's tough. What would you do for the slant? Any thoughts? He's not going on this big guy. You couldn't put him on 100. Unless he's 100 wide. He is a pretty big model. He could be 100 wide, but then that still doesn't make sense. No, it's not going to work. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What would a slant go on? That's tough. That's a tough one. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if y'all saw the prices, but it's 2 of these, and there's leaked prices everywhere. I'm not supposed to comment on leaked stuff, but I feel like that needs more. For the price that was talked about, and that the pre-order is coming up soon, you need more. You need more for like 40-ish or whatever for this. Like, you can make so many bases with... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that'll be purchased very much. Maybe someone will just buy it to have it and just keep it, or if someone just has 1 or 2 armies and everything they have is already on these and they don't want to diverge from that, they might just keep that. But the problem is that I see are those 20 millimeter squares, and are these 25s? Or are these 25s and these 30? So are these the old ones? Actually, I guess I could count. They're 200 by 200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway through. So these 20s? The movement trays are on 20 millimeters, so why would they get rid of that? Why would they sell that? I mean, you could cut these to be 40s, obviously, and you could cut anything by, anything going by 20s, but why would they resell the 20 millimeters squares? If nothing's on 20 millimeter, why would they redo that? Okay. Moving on. So they brought back the map. I don't know if this is any different from the map that they showed 2 years ago. You can see Athelloren, you can see all the Bretonia, you can see, here's the Empire down here. Now, obviously, I think this is just after the Empire had a huge fight with the vampire counts, and they actually pushed the vampire counts all the way back to their castles, like kicked the crap out of them. But obviously, the Empire lost a lot of stuff too, so I think that's why the vampire counts are not going to be currently, like one of the first ones, and the Empire is still rebuilding, so that makes sense. And you have the Border Princes. It's a lot of icons for the Border Princes. Then you have the Badlands, and then the Tomb Kings are, way down here. A bunch of dwarves, some goblins, more goblins, Gasways, some other stuff. Okay, cool. Let's see. Measuring an immense 1,000 by 80 millimeters. Yes, that's the whole meter in length. Oh, wow. Where do you get this? How do you get this guy? Plan your campaigns. How do you get this? Is that on pre-order? Can y'all pre-order the map? Yes, Crusader, definitely a large stockpile. Woohoo! Can you pre-order the map? Is that a thing? Anyone know? There's no 35-inch millimeters. Black Orcs are a nightmare to rank on 30s. What? Black Orcs? My Black Orcs right now are on 25s. How are they going to be a nightmare to rank on 30s? That should be fine. What I'm worried about, and a buddy of mine messaged me, he's building Lizardmen, and he's building all the new Lizardmen. And he was going off of what everyone else is thinking, that Lizardmen are going from 25s to 30s, just like all the other stuff that was on 25s is probably going up to 30s. So he was planning that, and he's having trouble basing them because their tails are so freaking long. They're always hitting like their buddies in the rank. So you're gonna have to be very careful when you rank that up. You might even have to like mark every single one to say this is an A1, A2, A3, A4, and then B, and then C, just like so they rank up properly. But I would love that map. I have a couple of the older ones, but a new one, sure, yeah, why not? Celebration Day. So is this the last of this? Yeah, okay. So love the old Pewter Necrons, the old Destroyer Lord. Don't really know this guy. He came out after my time for Necrons, but this guy, cool Iron Warrior. And no. So this one and this one, those are the Necrons that I grew up with, plus a little older, but these fellas right here. Actually, I don't remember him having a two-headed scythe. But I remember this guy. He was sweet. He was a beast. With the phase blade, or whatever it's called. Okay, next article. Let's go. Watch the Learn to Play. Watch a video with me, guys. Haha.
It is a time of battle and strife, of looming darkness and fleeting glory. It is a world of legend, a stage for mighty heroes, bold deeds, and untamed magic. This is a rank and flank game, featuring many elements of classic Warhammer, the game of fantasy battles. If you've played any miniatures tabletop wargame, you'll find elements of Warhammer the Old World familiar. You'll play several rounds, each made up of 4 distinct phases. In the strategy phase, you'll unleash powerful abilities, both magical and tactical. Your commanders can inspire their followers. Your wizards can enchant allies or hex enemies, and you can try to rally any fleeing troops. Movement in the old world is crucial. Careful maneuvering of your powerful but ponderous infantry blocks, lining up pivotal cavalry charges, and making sure your heroes are where they need to be. This is where the battle is really won and lost. When shooting, your forces unleash hell on enemies at a distance. Whether they are armed with slings and arrows, black powder weapons, or calling forth the winds of magic. Combat in the old world, whether it is ranged or melee, uses the classic Warhammer system. roll to hit, roll to wound, and then make saves. The outcome of each combat is decided by casualties' calls, as well as morale, discipline, and sheer weight of numbers. The losing units must then give ground, fall back, or flee like cowards, their spirits broken. That's just a taste of how Warhammer the Old World works.
Just a taste.
So muster your army, march to battle, and claim victory in the world of legend.
All right. So if I'm not mistaken, they're calling it the World of Legend, but I think it was called the Faded Lands. I think by the High Elves back in the day. Now this picture is interesting. So in 8th edition and others, if I remember right, you don't run away. You can see this turquoise line. Does that mean they're running away from the like they're running from this? They are. It looks like they're running from the center of each unit that they were in combat with. Right? It used to just be, I think in 6th edition and stuff, it might have been the highest unit strength, or it was maybe you randomize between. In 8th edition, gosh, what was it in 8th edition? Oh, it was the one with the most ranks, right? It was the unit that had the most ranks. You fled from them. Now, I can't read that from here if it says they have the same amount of ranks, but even if they do have the same amount of ranks, you're still fleeing directly away from the center of both. That's kind of cool. It makes sense because if, let's say you had orcs on this side, you wouldn't run, or tomb, whatever they are, let's just say the orcs, you wouldn't run this way, like through the goblins. You would run where there are no enemies, so you would flee this way or forward. So if you're trapped on either side, which way do you run? Hopefully that's in the rules. Yes, Crusader, I will talk about that in a minute. I actually have a whole bunch of images from the battle report that we're going to look at. I can't watch the battle report with y'all. I would love to watch it and do commentary along with them, but I can't because it's a paid subscription. I assume that that's probably not a good idea, and I could get in trouble for that. So we're not doing that. That's it, just the video? That's all you do? Okay, goodbye. Quick little article. We're taking a closer look at the newcomer. So basically the sprues for both. Let's see, can I get this bigger for y'all? Nice. Can't zoom all the way up, but that's basically good enough. Okay, so this is the Pegasus guy, either the Duke or the Baron or the BSB. I mean, it's got a lot of detail. The sword looks good. I kind of like how the sword has like the fleur-de-lis look with the guard that's angled. Obviously, if it's a real guard, you probably wouldn't want that, but this is fantasy, whatever. Even a guard like this one is more realistic, so the weapon that they're swinging with doesn't chop all the way through. This one will get like ricocheted off and might still hit something of yours. Who knows? The helmet's a little funky. It's very tall. It's like mimicking a Chaos Dwarf, I guess, trying to represent their height of their big hats. But everything is very detailed. Like all the flowing, very nice, very good lines. The lance is sweet. It's actually got a nice tip to it. No, but should break pretty soundly. 2 shields? So we got multiple shields. Why are they multiple shields? Is one just supposed to attach, or just let you build differently? Or if you're holding maybe one is if one's if you're holding the standard, and the other one is if you're not holding the standard and you're holding a weapon. Duh. Okay, we have, those wings are huge. Obviously, people have seen these sprues. These got leaked a long time ago. Someone actually, y'all remember when that was? It was like 6 months ago, maybe, when someone actually leaked these sprues, which was crazy how early they had these. But really cool. All the feathers have good details. Looks like arrow fletching, how they all have. Looks good. Definitely more detailed than the old Pegasus. It's interesting that the The legs of the Pegasus have all this extra hair on them, or probably feathers, those really low ones. Yeah, it looks like small little feathers. Help with their aerodynamics, I guess. Okay. This one's built to BSB. Very cool standard. A ton of room for freehand, which is great. I like that sword. Actually, I really like that sword. That kind of mimics a questing knight shield, kind of. Maybe missing a sword on it, but. So now here is the foot knights. Or sorry, what are they called? Knights of Realm on foot. Foot knights, got it. Okay, so lots of cloaks and tunics, and never trust someone in a tunic. I don't know if I like the... So what I liked about the old knights is that it was a solid piece on the head. It was either like a statue of the lady, or a dragon, or you had the antlers, or what have you. But here they have a lot of... Obviously, you see the bull down here. You see a boar with a sword in it, some antlers. Is that a helmet? That can't be a helmet, right? But I don't really like the space in between, like a small cathedral with a, I guess, a candle in it. I don't like it with all the extra space in between the helmet. Those just seem so unwieldy. Yeah, I'm picky over little things, I guess, whatever. I'm sure they look great in person. Here's the other one. Now, okay. What do y'all think? I am not a fan of their weapons. I don't think a Bretonnian on foot should have a two-handed axe. That's just me. The hand weapon shield, totally cool with it. Where are all the swords? Where are all the swords? Sword and board, awesome. No problem with sword and board. That looks great. A one-handed axe, okay, sure. But two-handed axes, ugh. Make them pole arms, like, or pole axes, whatever you want to call them, halberds, whatever. I just think that the head of the axe is just too much. You could easily, like a real pole arm back in the day, this little side of the axe is basically all you need for a real pole arm. Do you know how heavy this weapon would be? With this axe head? Sheesh. Like, an axe head this big makes me think of what an orc would hold, or a dwarf would hold, not a knight of the realm. You know, he's just a human noble. That's it. He's not blessed with anything. Maybe, obviously, if he's blessing the lady because you prayed during your, you skip your turn 1, you gave it to the opponent, whatever. But I think that axe head is way too broad. That is heavy. I don't know, what, 40 pounds? There's no way you're swinging that. So I always liked the polearm. I thought that would have been made more sense for a knight on foot. Just reminded me of like the end of the medieval era. I thought that would have been better, but that's okay. Y'all, any thoughts? A two-handed sword? Yeah, sure, that's even better. So I mean, that basically your questing knights or your great swords. That's probably why they went away from the two-handed sword, because they already have great swords. But make it a polearm. I think that would have been cool, but I don't know. Thoughts? Y'all agree? Disagree? What would y'all like? Oh, foot of pork. Did you say the flying Necron was the ugliest fig ever? How dare you? What about the two dark elf or dark eldar slaves? Those were pretty ugly back in the day. Okay, so here's a close up. Yeah, those axes. Look at this one. The blade is more than half the height of him. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Cut this by half. Cut it right there and there. Cut this one down a lot, and I think that's what I would do. So I'm going to have to buy at least 10 of these, I think. Or no, it comes in a box of 20. So I guess I'm going to have to buy a box of 20 of them. Yeah. My opinion. Musician looks great. I think they're a little tall based on them standing next to the archers and everything. But I guess if you think that the peasants and men-at-arms are, if they're just peasantry, then they're not going to have the nutrition of a noble. So it would make sense that these are bigger guys. But I feel like they're like a whole head above them. So we'll have to check. All right, that's it for this one. Designer roundtable on how the new world, the new old lore was written. Obviously, they're going to have to rewrite everything. Wizard's Tower. Oops, sorry, y'all can't see it. So this is sweet. Like great old art. Actually, is this old? It sure has that old vibe to it. Someone said there's a lot of Kislev in here, which I thought was interesting. All right, Jonathan. The old world is the origin story of the apocalypse. The cover Karl Franz, Rise of Archeon, ultimately the end times. Of course, right? Archeon, that was his purpose, was to destroy the world. Let's see, let's not go down too far. Siege of Terror's inclusion became destruction of Prague, and the siege of Kislev was pivotal. Of course it was. Which is so surprising that now, like, they're talking about Kislev, and it looks just glancing, I can see Kislev in other spots, that they previewed all those Kislev models, but they didn't start with them as an army to come out with, which I was kind of surprised. So I think they're on the list. Maybe they'll be like in somewhere in the infamy or allies or something. Ever chosen prior to cause. Bellicor. I kind of like the old Bellicor more than the new one. I think his wings are too wide, but what do I know? Okay. Just me stating my opinion. Okay. How imminent are these events? Okay, so the date of the rulebooks is 2276. That's just a few decades, hey, look at that, before the Great War against Chaos. And 2076 is specifically the year when Cetra invades the Border Princes, which is a huge moment for the setting. You won't see the Siege of Prague anytime soon, but the wheels have been set in motion. I love that. So, obviously, there's other editions and other games after they blew up the world, but it is cool just to have, I guess, the parent company start working on stuff again. Let's see. Hopefully they have good writers, and I'm sure they do. Let's see. So that's a good thing. That makes me happy to see that, the Great War of Chaos is coming. That's gonna be epic. Y'all remember the what edition was that? 6th, 7th, maybe, when you could play a game of fantasy, go on the GW website and insert like the game. You could do like let's say it was Vampire Counts versus Wood Elves. You could say who the victor was. I think you could even say the points. I don't think you could write a description of it, but maybe you could. And then there was like I think it was a pie graph of like who's winning and who's actually taking over parts. Does anyone remember that? Ah, gosh, I forgot about that. You think Kislev is coming? Okay. Yeah, actually, that makes sense. When the Great War comes, Kislev will there be a new army. That's a good point. Your favorite model ever? Okay. I've seen him in person. It's just I like classic stuff, so I have the old one, and I've seen the new one. He's a pretty model, but I prefer if I'm using Bellicor. Maybe it's just because I'm an old hammer, I guess. Okay, so let's see. I don't really think anyone specifically planned for the game set in this period. The Skaven really aren't around at this time in the established background. They're fighting a civil war at the bowels of the earth, which causes them to practically vanish for a few centuries and become folklore. That makes sense, because that's when there's like, there's no such thing as Skaven. But they still need to bring them out. Like, you still have to have something, even if little inklings and clans, like old clans that have no name, or sorry, that aren't famous enough to be like of the current ones, you still have to have Skaven. It's the world of Warhammer Fantasy. You have to have Skaven, even though you don't want to treat this like 30K, in my opinion, where it was just like the Horus Heresy, where it was just Marines on Marines. You want a diverse plate of armies to choose from. One, because it makes the game better and you're not fighting the same force over and over and over, and variety is good, especially for fantasy. Like, you have all the models still. You're still selling Skaven fantasy, so just write something for them, which they're going to do. So here's the... Oh, and I was told the Forces of Fantasy was actually the name of the book in 3rd edition. So that's funny. I went and looked at my books downstairs, and the guy was completely right. So thank you for that. Now, obviously, I think there's what we got 9 here. I think there's another 6 or 7 that were on the list to come out as just a PDF. So hopefully that comes out soon, like vampire counts. Hey, look at that, because the Von Karsteins have just been defeated at Helfen. Hey, I just said it earlier. Haha. Damn, there was excellent foundations. There's still plenty of space for them to explore. Okay. Will any characters return? You would make sense that it wouldn't. Like, none of the orc characters. Grimgore's not alive. Skarsnik's not alive. There's some dwarfs that are alive. Obviously, most of the elves are alive. But you can't bring back some of them. So... Cetra for sure. Green Knight for sure. Fey Enchantress for sure. Such a good... That's great art. Like... I'm telling you, it's like The Mummy. The Mummy Returns. Let's see. There are 2 examples of characters. Oh, they are. So we're just talking about the other ones. I don't care. You'll start to see other characters recognized returning, but at a younger age. Kings may currently be princes. So like Luen? No, that can't make sense. This is like 300 years prior. So no Luen. Dwarf? Dwarf kings? Thorgrim? Thorgrim as a prince? How long do dwarves live in the fantasy world in here, in the old world, in Warhammer Fantasy? It's like 300 years-ish in D&D. Don't know how old they live in the old world. Okay. Obviously, you won't see Karl Franz, for sure. Yep, you won't see Magnus yet. Is there a character y'all wish that would show up that might not be old enough, but do you hope they show up anyways? Are drastically different. So a lot of people were thinking that gunpowder would be different at first, but apparently the dwarves, I think it was the dwarves, had already given the Empire gunpowder. So a few things may be missing. What will be missing? You still get cannons and mortars. I think steam tanks are still going to be there. So what won't exist? You still have a grudge thrower, maybe fire throwers? Maybe no fire thrower? I guess that's pretty advanced technology in comparison to gunpowder. The Goblin Hewer! Yeah, the Celestial Hurricanum should not exist because the colleges of magic hasn't even been set up yet. So I don't know how magic is going to work for the Empire because they won't have like a fire wizard. They won't have shoot, what are they called? A gray wizard. I think that's the shadow one. Gyrocopters? Ooh, maybe no gyrocopters. Gyrocopters were gross. Gyrocopter spam? I hated that. Goblin Hewer, yeah, I said that. I love that. That was Dogs of War though. But it's awesome. It's really good in WoP. It's disgusting. It's like every rank of 5 or more models, I think you get an extra D3 on the shots. It's gross. Let's see. Yeah, Foot of Pork. I think they said that steam tanks will be back. A special character. That would be cool. That would be sweet. Now, I think, is this when Marienburg, is that still part of the Empire? I don't think they've split off yet. I think Marienburg is still part of it. Did it, zombie? Okay. Well, I stand corrected, sir. The land ship? Is the land ship around at this time? I guess the land ship would come before a steam tank in terms of technology, right? Just put some wheels on a ship instead of actually having to build this metal monstrosity. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Rah. Ooh, man, if handgunners are having to shoot beastmen point blank, you about to get chopped to bits. Like this poor fella right here. He gone. Look at Empire handguns. We could give the soldiers an older style handguns. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Just so you don't have to worry about the in-game. Turns of magic. Yep. Gosh, look at this. Look at this. And you're right. Who said that? Agnostic, mini agnostic, completely correct. Neither would the Luminarch because there's no light college either. Their creations, college magic. So, but you still have the War Altar, right? I would assume. Because you have Sigmar is still there, or well, was there. What, I guess 2276 years ago. Because that's when like the Imperial calendar started, right? Is that when he became a god that they started it? Because obviously he was a human beforehand. He was like a demigod, I guess, of some sort. And then he became godlike. He ascended. And then they prayed to who was it before? Middenheim. Was it Ulrich? I think, right? I think so. Before Sigmar. So I think it was 2276 when the Imperial. Sorry, 0 is when the Imperial. It was like after Sigmar, before Sigmar, like BCE or BC, whatever. I think that's correct. Can y'all correct me on that? Maybe, but not the Cult of Sigmar isn't accepted. Okay. It is a good article, right? This is a good one. Just because you can listen to them talking back and forth. Is this word for word? Probably not. Edit a little bit, but it works, so. One of the interesting things we come across during the research was lore from the end times about a specific steam tank used by Nuln called Deliverance, which was deployed during the Siege of Prague. Steam tanks are fascinating because they were built several centuries ago. Oh, when he was still alive. So he's not alive anymore. Who said that? Pork. So sadly, Pork, he is not alive anymore. Yeah, so I think the altar is safe. But sadly, the your character, Leonardo da Vinci, de Miragalano, whatever, was still alive. So he's not alive anymore. They're actually more in the old world period than they're in the end times because they're newer. Few had been destroyed. I think one got like stuck in the mud, right? I think one like sunk in the mud and they couldn't get it out, so they just had to abandon it. That was later, obviously, like not the end times here. Golden Age. How is it a golden age? You just fought you just fought the Karsteins. Y'all are getting your like you've lost. You might have beaten the Karsteins, but man, y'all should be depleted, right? An age that knows decree of peace. Oh well, compared to the end times, everything's peaceful. Sheesh. Okay. So the steam tanks are no longer a relic to be revered and studied. They were a shiny new product. Okay, sure. Yep. There's also less superstition. By the end time, it's common to claim that there are only 12 steam tanks built ever. Superstition? Okay. So this, oh man, I hate steam tanks. Ugh. Lore-wise, great, they're cool. There's only 12-ish, even though they're saying that's a common claim. But they're just such a crutch, man. You have a unit that is unbreakable, that is super tough, has decent weapons, and can grind units to dust. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't a age of vast crowds wandering through the empire and flagellating themselves. Okay, so maybe you won't have a lot of flagellants? We're gonna have flatulence all over themselves. Yeah, I know. Ha 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 ha. I don't know if y'all saw the brazier when I made that goof, when I made that blunder. Okay. This is pre-Great War. Yep. You love the Foot Knights? See, I'm just not a... that's okay. Yeah, steam tanks suck. It's like such a crutch. Like, hey, this section right here where I have this random movement guy that's what, 3d6, I think? 3d6 in any direction, you don't really want to get there because it's just going to get smashed because all that grinding is going to destroy them. And then, yeah, they can't overrun, which is great. So you can speed bump them, and then I think you could move block them back in the day and whop. I don't know if you can in this edition, but you have the steam tank, It's called railroading. I believe that's what it was. You put dudes on either side, so they have to go straight. Have to, because they can't turn and pivot because you're come within an inch of stuff. I think the 1 inch rule was talked about in one of the articles. I think that's still a thing. But okay. Tomb Kings are listed among the forces of evil. Was that always the case? I thought they were always kind of neutral, just like stay out. All his rooms. Yeah, of course, Cetra wants everything. He will kill you. Bend the knee or die. Oh wow, I forgot her name. Daenerys. Daenerys, there she is. Daenerys Targaryen. Bend the knee or die. Breaker of chains. That's Tomb Kings down to a T. A little more gray. Yep. This is called the World of Legends. It's Warhammer Fantasy. Blah, blah, blah. They're trying to draw a clear line between good and evil. Okay. This makes sense. It's difficult to buy the idea that the undying empire of Skeleton ruled by an ultimate tyrant, that they wouldn't be evil. Yeah, it makes total sense. We've tried to capitalize on that. The Navgar is Cetra's herald. Oh yeah, have y'all seen that? Have you? Let's see. I think I have it somewhere. Hold on. Obviously, I won't be able to show on my phone because I am getting a new camera, so then I can show y'all other cool stuff that I've seen. Let's see, or have. Where are you? I better not have deleted it. I should have it. Scrolling. Obviously, y'all have seen this one. By the lady. That one's pretty funny. But where's the one with Cetra? Ooh, did I get rid of it? That's gonna bother me. It basically has like 100 of his titles, which is basically what the his herald walks around and screeches out. But dang, I guess I deleted it. Someone send that to me. It's a skeleton. I think it's a skeleton with a huge scroll, and then to the left it has like all the titles that Cetra has ever been called. It's pretty funny. I don't know if you've read them all, but it's pretty funny. Okay. Definitely read all this article. I'm not going to go through all this. This is just a lot to read through. On here, at least. So, talking about heraldry. Okay. We use that as a chance to analyze how heraldry works, how over time it will shift and change. I'm surprised that the models that they previewed weren't how Bretonnian is classically pictured. I guess they just needed to pump it out, or it is pertinent to the story. Some of these idea colors are picked by every metal team. The high-ranking knights will wear colors consistent with the dukes. Yep. Okay. So they've mentioned Questing Knights a couple times. Hopefully that means that they will be re-releasing the Questing Knight. Oh, the box. I think they said that up there. I think I showed that already. So like any of these colors of these shields would have been better than just gray dice, right? Gray and black dice. Yeah, this. I mean, look at all these options. Much cooler. Even put a little gold in them. If you're gonna do like gray and white, which is basically here, which is what's that special character who's holding the axe? Ooh, I forgot his name. The black and white horse. Crap. Someone tell me. Someone will know. The knights come across the kingdom, and I say, yep, makes total sense. With every faction, we'll continue to adhere to the foundation elements. Okay. Y'all want me to move on? Good, because I'm moving on. This is boring me. Okay, so this is a battle report. If you have Warhammer Plus, definitely go watch the battle report. It has a lot of rules that have not been previewed that are spoken about in the battle report. I think Warhammer Plus is it's like $60 a year, but it's basically a $30, $40 model, and then the rest is for entertainment. So here, I will pull up some of the rules. You want to see some of the rules that they previewed? Initiative, I can skip all this because I don't need... Yes, okay, so we're not going to go through that. Designer notes, we'll go through that in a second. Okay, so we're going to go through some of the rules that they previewed. Let's pull it up. Image, browse. Haha. Okay. So this is their Blessing of the Lady. Once deployment is complete, instead of rolling off, this is from the battle report. Instead of rolling basically for first turn, you don't roll, and the Bretonians just pray, which is cool. It's basically as if the opponent had won the roll off, and then it says giving all models in the army with the special rule. So I'm guessing peasants still don't get that rule because that would just make sense. Now, this is from the battle report, but it was on they were posted on the Warhammer, the Old World Facebook page. So I just grabbed the images. So basically all your knights, on foot or not, will have this rule, and all your characters, but peasants shouldn't. So you get a 6-up ward and then a 5-up if it's strength 5 or higher, which is basically what it used to be. Losing the blessing, you can be lost, and just as it used to be, I think if you flee, refuse a challenge, you lose a special rule. So basically a copy-paste from older editions, which is great. Pretty simple. There's a bunch of these. So 2. Peasantry. So this is what they used to do. Y'all wanted me to cover myself up? That's fine. Peasantry. If a unit with the special rules within 6 inches of a friendly model that has the Knight's Vow, Questing Vow, or Grail Vow, you basically can use their leadership, which is cool. And that's, was it still 8th edition back in the day? I think it was 8th edition back in the day. Or sorry, 6 inches back in the day. Was it 8 or 12 in older editions? But 6 inches is not very close, especially if your knights are running up the field trying to smash home. Let's move this up a little bit. Got my Harry the Hammer t-shirt on. A character with the special rule can only join a unit with that special rule. Makes sense. So there have to be peasant characters, or maybe there's a vow. I think it was like the vow of empathy, which let you join a non-peasant into a peasant unit. Pretty cut and dry from the old one. See, Bretonnian 3. A Knight's Vow. So the Knight's Vow, you don't have to take a panic test from peasants, of course, or if they flee through you. Pretty cut and dry, just like from the old one. Makes perfect sense to me. Let's see, I think 4. We're on 4. So this is the Lance formation. Just like in older editions, all the ones on the sides, the one in base, and then all the ones on the side get to swing. So these 3 right here do not get to attack. Do they say it counts as base? Mouse edge adds in base contact. Mouse face same direction. So I would assume that these count in base since they're grayed out. It doesn't actually say, but if all these count in base, that means their lance hits and their horse gets to hit. Just like older. So I think this is the 5th edition, right? In 6th edition, it went to the 3 by, I think, whatever depth you want. But I think it was 4th and 5th edition that it was this. Okay, let's go to the next one. Easy, easy, easy. So they did preview one of the virtues. Virtue of the Joust. A model with this virtue may reroll any failed rolls to wound made when using the lance. So basically that's only on the charge, because I think the lance says you have to switch to a hand weapon. I think that's what the article said, an older article. So like if you get charged, you can't use this, because I think you can only use the lance on the charge. But that's pretty cool. Rerolling a wound, but you're already going to be strength 6, so it'll really help versus monsters, and if you just happen to roll a 1 to wound, that'd be nice. Maybe if you get Killing Blow, if you have Heroic Killing Blow. But it does say failed rolls to wound. It doesn't just say rolls to wound. So, but I think the old Killing Blow you couldn't use a magical lance, if I'm not mistaken. So next on the Tomb King rules, Arrows of Asp. Just as like in 8th edition. Yeah, 6th edition, it was the bus. 6th edition, they showed in the army preview there's some mastered arms or something. Oh yeah, that makes sense. The mastered arms could join the peasants. Yeah, good call. So the Arrows of Asp, basically your Tomb Kings are going to hit on 5s. Just like in 8th edition, you could be behind cover, skirmishing, have a -1 to hit buff on them, and it's just like, we don't care. We're always hitting on 5s. So you can move, shoot, and all that stuff. You're always going to hit on 5s, just like what they used to. Tomb King 2. My will be done. I need to zoom in a little bit for y'all. Let's see. So in the older one, in 8th edition, what this let you do, I believe it gave your weapon skill of the character to the unit, and it let you march. So in this one, during the command subphase of the turn, I believe this is before charges, if I remember right, if that from the article, I think that's correct. So you have to, let's see, you take a leadership check. If you pass until the start of the character's next subphase, start of turn subphase, their mount and any unit they have joined gain this modifier. So their mounts get +3 movement, D3, +1 weapon skill, or +3 D3 initiative. Not as good as it used to be, but if you're expecting to get charged, because later you'll see why the initiative one is kind of important. If you're expecting to charge or get charged and you need that initiative buff to be able to strike first, not bad. +1 weapon skill isn't bad, especially if y'all were even before. Now you're going to need 3s. I think a skeleton's weapon skill is probably 2. So if you're just in a basic skeleton unit, you want to make them not be hit on 3s or not hit on 5s. That seems pretty important. D3 movement's good too, because you do the D3 movement and then you charge. Because the command subphase, I believe, is before charging. So that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Extra D3 movement. Not a bad one. Is that 2? So 3. Nehakarn Undead. Oop. Gotta make this a little smaller. Let's see. A little smaller again. Getting there. We're getting there. So you have Undead. You cannot march. So this is what's weird to me. Okay, hold on. I'm reading this. Models with the special rule are Undead. Undead models cannot march unless they have this fly special rule and choose to move by flying. So if you are undead, but you have the fly rule, you can march. So if you're like the dragon, like the Nile dragon, I'm going to call it that, the bone dragon, you can fly. So I'm guessing it's fly 7, 8, 9, 10, so you can march 14, 16, 18. It's pretty good. Obviously, you have fear, unbreakable, unstable, and ITP. Unstable, what that used to do is like every combat res you lost by, you crumble 1. Can't join a unit. Makes sense. This was what? Tomb Kings 3. Let's go to 4. Stubborn. Now this was cool. Okay, I read this. So there's a men-at-arms upgrade, unit upgrade. It's not a command. It's not a command guy. It's like the one with the I don't know what you call that. It has like the statue of the lady with the candles on it, but it's kind of like a cupboard. It's a cupboard on top of a standard, right? It makes your unit stubborn for like the first round, I think, that they lose, or just the first round of combat. So the first time this unit is required to make a break test, it may choose not to and will automatically fall back in good order. So instead of just bolting out of there and then hopefully potentially getting chopped down, you can just fall back. I think it's D6 inches backwards, right? That's amazing. So that means the men-at-arms unit, let's point this back down. The men-at-arms unit for the first round of combat will not run. That's incredible to me. You just automatically fall back in good order. Okay, so you could easily just pick like a unit of 10 of them and just be like a great speed bump. 10 of them with the character. If the enemy doesn't kill all 10, you just bounce back a little bit, get them open to flanks for charging. Weird. Strong. Seems very strong. Command, move, shoot, fight. Yeah, right. Okay, so that's 4. Let's go to 5. Definitely watch the battle report. Shoot, leave this and go watch the battle report. I don't care. We're just hanging out, people. We're just talking Warhammer Fantasy. Reserve move. Excuse me. Wait, won't go any wider? Ew. Okay, well, that's what I can see. So, reserve move. So, this is super fast. I'm guessing maybe a lot of fast cavalry or something will have this. Unless it charged, marched, or fled during the movement phase of its turn, A unit with a special rule may make a reserve move at the end of the shooting phase. After all shooting has been resolved, a unit making a reserve move just moves as described basic movement phase. It may maneuver as normal, but may not march. That's amazing. So if you have move and shoot weaponry, but not march, then you just move. So it's like move, shoot, move. Right? Or if you're fast cav that doesn't have, or you just, sorry, not fast cav, but just if you're a unit with a reserve move and you don't have a, what's the point of that? If you don't have a ranged weapon, why would you move and then move again at the end of the shooting instead of just marching? Magic, maybe there's a magic buff that helps you summon in some regard. I'm not sure. Interesting. But for fast cav, like pistoliers or something, move, shoot, move again. Really let you get behind people a lot easier. I don't know if you can march and shoot in this edition with them. Okay. Thank you, Crusader. Yep, it's the Grail Monk. I think they showed the Reliquary is 25 points plus 7. Yeah, 7 points? That's crazy. 7 points to make a unit stubborn, like the first round. That seems really freaking good. Was that 4? 4. Okay, so this is one of the... Wait, what? Where's the rest of the spell? Where's the spell? I think I talked about this. Hold on. Let me pull this up. This is Tomb King's 6th that... Okay, well, what this is supposed to say is... Okay, I got it. I don't know why it's not pulling up on here, but until the start of your... Until your next start of turn subphase, any friendly unit that has the Nakaran Undead Special rule and that is within the caster's command range may reroll any 1s to hit of a natural 1. Okay, so you reroll 1s. Not bad for shooting. Not bad for close combat, especially when you hit so poorly. Takes a 7, and it's just self. But it's any caster, anyone within your caster's command range. So I'm guessing like 12 inches or something. So you roll 1s. Not great. It's okay. It's really cheap to get off, so that's no big deal. 7. Resurrecting the Fallen. Just going to move this down. Hey, there we go. Okay, so this is Tomb King's Healing. 32 for Stubborn. Hey, that's still worth it. 32 points to make a unit like now fall back. That's... Oh, Pat, that makes sense. Yeah, move into range with your shooting, and then move out if they have it. Okay, I like that. So, Tomb Kings. Any characters that have joined the unit are healed. A character has been reduced to 0 wounds, cannot be resurrected. Blah, blah. Second models with more than 1 wound. Profile healed. Finally, rank by rank. Okay, so you have to go in this order. Any characters are healed first. If your character's dead, you obviously can't be healed. Models with more than 1 wound are healed. This is such a weird layout. The unit champion is resurrected first, then the standard bearer and musician, just how it used to be. Okay. Resurrected models are out of the front rank until it reaches the minimum required to claim a rank bonus. So even if you're in march... That's interesting. What if you're in marching order? Which I think... So, like, let's just say you're 4x5, which you're in marching order. But then you start resurrecting models. Now, that's a question I think probably should be answered. That needs to be covered. Because if you're... Wait, why would you be in marching order if you're undead? You can't march. Are you allowed to be in marching order if you can't march? That's a good question. So if you can't march, why would you ever be in marching order? And if you can be in marching order for whatever reason, and then you resurrect models... Interesting. Okay. I don't think anyone... Interesting. I don't think anyone would do that. Conundrum. What do we got here? Unquiet Spirits. Evil spirits gather around the enemy, their spectral talons creeping beneath armor to tear at flesh. Casting value 8, range 15. The target enemy suffers 3d6 strength 2 with no armor saves. That's pretty good. Strength 2, whatever, but no armor saves? You still take ward and regen, but no armor saves is pretty good. Okay, so let's see. 3d6, so you're getting an average of 6 hits. Let's say you're fighting against toughness 3 dudes, so you need 5s to wound. So you kill basically 2 knights. Or if you're fighting a steam tank, you cause 2 wounds, maybe 1 wound to a steam tank. 1 wound is what's big to a steam tank if it works the same way it used to. But it's only range 15, so that is a very short magic missile for only a casting value 8. Oh, it's 3d6. Oh man, I thought it was 3d3. So what's that? 4, 7, I think 10.5 is the average on 3d6. So you get either 10 or 11. So if you need 5s, you're going to get 3 wounds through on average. And then if you need 6s, you get 2. So it's like 3 or 4 on 5s and then like 2 on 6s is the 1 or 2 is the average. So if you put 2 wounds on a steam tank, that's amazing. Or if you just like murder 4 chaos knights. But the range is 15, so if you're that close, your wizard, if he's in a unit, is probably getting charged. Man, that's... Ugh. I don't like how close that is. That is really short. Yes. 3. Yes, thank you, Space Boy. How many wounds is it? How many wounds is it? But if you're needing 4s to wound, what's toughness 2? Skinks. So, okay, not great. It's pretty good. Like, if you do murder, like, 3 or 4 knights, that's pretty amazing. Actually, no, Chaos Knights are toughness 4, so you would need 6s with them anyways. Okay, not great. But if you're against Empire Knights or Bretonia Knights, yeah, they might get only get a 6-up ward against that because it's strength 2 and not strength 5 or higher. So, you're still kill. Even if you kill 3 Bretonia Knights, they used to be a full rank. So, if you had the wedge, you basically kill everyone that can't swing. Oh, how perfect. But you cause a panic check, I think. That might be okay. Unquiet Spirits. Interesting. Tomb Kings 9. What do we got? Spirit Leech. Can I open that up so y'all can see? There you go. Spirit Leech. Chill winds gust and long shadows gather, sapping the enemy's will and sowing seeds of dread. It's a hex. So hexes can only be cast at certain times, in certain phase. So casting value of 8, range 18, as at least helps. Until the end of this turn, the target enemy unit suffers a -2 to its leadership and cannot use generals and spy and presence. That's really good. And can target a enemy unit in combat. Okay, so, oh man, if your opponent has like their general nearby and they're like, yeah, I might lose combat, but I'm leadership 10 or 9, whatever, so I should only fall back in good order, etc. But then it's -2 leadership plus only the unit's leadership, which is probably 8. So their basic leadership is only a 6 on average right now. That's huge. That could really swing the game. Takes an 8 though, but I think you add I think the article spoke about it's not just 2d6, you're also adding your wizard level. So if you're level 3, that's only a 5. Range 18 is good. If you're on a flying thing, that's really easy to get off. That's so different. Didn't Spirit Leech used to be, can you spam the Raise Dead with multiple wizards? Yeah, why not? Why not? I think Tomb Kings could never really go above their starting strength. I think that was just a vampire count thing, which makes sense because the Nehekar can only raise their own people. Blah, 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 blah. I went through that. Didn't Spirit Leech used to be like a direct damage against an opponent? It wasn't leadership. It was, it's like we each add d6 to our leadership, and however much you win by as the caster, that's how many wounds the enemy takes. It was really like sucking, like sapping, not sapping your enemy's will, but it was like sapping the life force, the spirit of them. All right, so that's it for the Tomb Kings one. So here's GW. This was like so I had them separated like Bretonnian rules, Tomb King rules, and then this is like all GW stuff. This is all from their battle report on Warhammer Plus. Definitely go watch it. I heard it was good. I got some clips of it, so not me personally, but I saw some. Well, whatever. I saw some clips of it. It looks great, and it actually went through a lot of rules. I don't know who won, so I would go watch it. I'm just because if they're actually going to continue to do battle reports, even though I do them too every once in a while, especially when the old world comes out, I will be doing them. I will still watch it because I love watching other people's battle reports. I don't care if they're 6th edition, 3rd edition, doesn't matter to me. I'll still watch. Okay, like have it on the background when I'm doing work or whatever. So, accepting a challenge. Once a challenge has been issued, the opposing player can nominate eligible champion. So, champions can challenge in Warhammer's Armies Project. They cannot accept or declare challenges. Interesting. Cannot be accepted. There's no eligible. To be eligible, they must be within or adjacent to the fighting rank. To be eligible, the model must be within or adjacent to the fighting rank. So the fighting rank is just your front rank, your first rank. When would you ever be adjacent to? So just if a character's in the 2nd rank, is that adjacent to the fighting rank? Interesting. When would you ever have a character not in the 1st rank that's adjacent to and accepting a challenge? The only reason I would say they put that in there is if maybe if you make way to another flank, if make way is a rule, you could make way to a flank that's being attacked, and then if you get challenged in the front and you're adjacent to it, I don't know. I don't understand the adjacent to. Yeah, flank charge. That's the only thing I can think of. Was pointed out, GW did 2 Horus Heresy bat reps at launch and haven't done one since. Ugh. Okay. Pat Gray says the no step up is confirmed from the battle report. Okay. That's disheartening. Now, hey Pat, so if you watched it, did you see like was their whole fighting rank, did they go really wide? Or did they just kind of like stay within 8th edition, like no more than 10 wide? Maybe they did like 6 or 8 wide or something. Did that ever come into play where the fighting rank was so large that they didn't go wide? Okay, I figured. They're not going to abuse it. Oh, it's from Reddit? Okay, I'm sure it's on there somewhere. Faded Dispel. Oh man, what is... There you go. Faded Dispel. Once per turn, if you don't have any wizards able to make a wizardly dispel attempt, or if you wish to avoid the risk, you may attempt... Okay, so you don't want to risk your wizard blowing up, I guess. So if they rolled pretty poorly, you could just use the Faded Dispel. Okay, so it's dispelling attempting to dispel something without using your wizard bonus, but just once per turn. Is that player turn or game turn? So if they don't specify, that means game turn. So that's in your phase. Well, obviously you're only dispelling once in your opponent's turn. Okay, but just once though. Interesting. Okay, GW3, Fear. Oh, this is a long one. Okay, we're going to have to do it like this. Fear. Mods with this special rule calls Fear. If a unit wishes to declare a charge against an enemy unit that both causes fear and has a higher unit strength, it must first take a leadership test. So I think that was just like 6th edition, minus the unit strength thing. So, okay, so that's interesting. If you fail, you cannot charge. It does not move and is considered to have made a failed charge. Yikes. In 6th edition, if you failed, could you then redirect to something that didn't have fear? Yeah, Space Cowboy, it sounds like there's sounds like going wide is going to... If Hero Hammer is a thing, then... Oh, you did? Downvoting people? Cool. If you have to go that wide, then Hero Hammer would be a thing, because if you're only 5 wide and you're like skeletons or even Knights of the Realm on foot, you probably don't have... You might have like a 3 or 4 up save. And if you get charged with something that's like AP2 or AP3, you're going to lose like 4 of them. That's on a monster, a character and a monster. You're going to lose like 3 or 4 easy. plus stomp. Yeah. Man, I do not want to see wide units. Gosh. Okay. So I do like that if you fail a fear check, you just oops, wrong one. Let's grab this one. There we go. If you fail a fear check when you're declaring a charge, you cannot charge. You're just stuck. That makes fear actually very relevant again. If a unit is engaged with an enemy that both causes fear and has a higher unit strength when its combat is chosen during any choose and fight. Okay, so when you're selected to fight, if you cause fear and you have a higher unit strength, just like the other one, then you're -1 to hit. Okay, so I think in 8th edition, if you failed, you became weapon skill 1. So they made fear relevant, which is great. Not only does it do the -1 to hit, but it also does, if you try and charge me, that's huge. A unit only needs to make 1 fear test per turn. Models that cause fear are immune to fear. Duh. A unit that does not cause fear does not become immune to fear when joined by a character that does. Okay, so if a unit is joined by a character that causes fear, does the whole unit cause fear in terms of being charged? So if I have one character with fear inside a block of, let's just say, 29 guys, and I'm charged by a unit of like 24 guys, does my whole unit cause fear? That means you have to take a leadership test, since I'm higher unit strength than you, to see if you can charge me. Seems big. Fear becomes very relevant. I like it, because in 8th edition it was trash. In WoP it's pretty good. Ooh, what are you doing way up there? Now this is huge. This is why I was talking about earlier about the initiative buff with the Tomb King. If you charge an enemy in their front rank, you get +1 initiative per full inch moved prior to making contact. Full inch. So no rounding up or down, it's just full. To a maximum of +3. So that means a skeleton warrior, let's just say it's initiative 2 because most skeletons are. If you charge 6 inches, at least 3, right? You're going to be going at initiative 5. So you're going to go at the same time as most elves. Trying to think 8th edition. Elves were mostly initiative 5, right? Then Warriors of Chaos, I think were 5. You're going before all Empire, all Orcs, mostly all Empire, all Orcs. So charging is huge. So it makes sense because in 6th edition and in 7th, if you charge, you go first, flat out. Even if you had great weapons, it doesn't matter. So this at least, interesting. Does anyone like Finecast? What are y'all talking about over here? No Hero Hammer, blah, 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 blah. Summon an arms, do it in the bad rep. Okay. When you're crumbling by 1,000,000 anyway, who cares about the 3 ranks over the extra attacks back? I completely agree. Like, oh no, I don't have 3 ranks, but I get to throw 60 attacks at you. Or whatever it is. However wide I am. Okay, so if you charge in the enemy flank or rear, you get a maximum of +4. I really like this. It compensates. The only thing I dislike about it is no step up. But being able to strike first, it definitely brings it back to 6th or 7th edition era, where basically if you charge, you're going first. Unless you're a super god when it comes to speed, like Slanesh or something. Okay, so charging is really important, as it used to be, because there's no step up, and you're basically striking first, and so is fear. Good, good, good. Now, no, they have countercharge. Countercharge is a thing, so that's good. Didn't I already do challenges? I feel like I did. Step 1. Blah, 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 blah. I did. So we're going to GW6. What's this one? Oh, this is regen. Okay, how has regens changed? Mouth the special roll can make a regen save. The armor value of the regen save. The armor value of a regen save is shown in the brackets. The special rule: a regen save can never be modified by the AP. Makes sense. And can be made in addition to an armor save and ward save. So in WoP, they combined the saves. Not till maybe after a year of us playing WoP, but So in the old world, it's going to be armor, regen, ward. However, any saves failed are basically still counted. Sorry, any wounds saved are still counted. Okay. So if you can stack saves, yikes, that's going to be gross. There's going to be some armies that can stack a decent armor with a regen and a ward. Ooh, like Lore of Life with Bretonnian. So if you have you're a good 2-3 up armor save stacked with like, what was the Lore of Life spell? Like could only do it on the wizard one. What was it called? I think it was the signature spell. Either way, let's just say you get a 6-up regen, and then you also get a 6-up or a 5-up ward, depending on the strength. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Reserve move. I did this one. Why are they coming through twice? What's going on? Scouts! You're not mad 20mm? Yeah, it's old world. Step up is basically here we go. 2 units. They charge each other. Let's just say they charge each other. This unit strikes first. Actually, we'll just say this unit strikes first. And kills, let's say this is 6 wide. Kills 5 of these guys. The models that are behind them in older editions, in 8th edition, would step up and still get to swing. That's not what happened in 6th or 7th or now in this edition. The models that you killed, yes, you take models from the back, right? Which is commonplace because that's what dies and it's just easier. But the models that actually died, they don't get to swing. So if you have 6 models up front, my unit charged and killed 5 of them, only the 1 gets to swing back. So these guys that step up don't get to swing back. They've wasted their turn of attacking by stepping up. So striking first is huge. It's very big. It makes Tomb Kings really tough on a dragon. 3-up, 4-up armor save, 5-up regen, and a 4-up ward. How do they get a 5-up regen? Is that just a... I guess that's just a thing. Tyrion initiative 10 was the highest. Yeah, initiative 10's pretty good. No. The second rank, only the fighting rank gets to swing. So that's just the first rank. The only time an additional rank gets to swing is if you have like a spear and you got charged, or maybe a unit has a special rule that like second rank gets to swing or something. But almost, I'd say 95% of units, it's only going to be the front rank that gets to swing. So there'll be no step up. So that's why going wider is like more optimal here if you're expecting to get charged, because everyone in the fighting rank gets to swing, even if you're not in base contact. Now, the ones that aren't in base contact, you only get to swing 1 attack, but most models only have 1 attack anyways, so it's going to be kind of wonky. I'm very curious to see how the meta, like, just grows, which is going to be very weird for movement trays. I don't want to see line hammer. I don't want to see a line and then a whole another line, just like single files of dudes. It's going to be weird. Be interesting. Okay, scouts. Let me get to scouts. Units with special rule may be deployed after all other units from armies. Of course, they can be deployed anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 12 inches away from the enemy model. If deployed in this way, they cannot charge, just like 8th edition. If both armies contain scouts, roll off to determine who scouts first. Players then alternate, blah, 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 blah. So it should be said that scouts should not count towards who deployed first, like finished deploying first, because it says they may deploy after all units. It makes no sense for them to count towards the like to roll to see who gets +1. I assume that's still in this edition. It might have been covered in another article, but it should be. Stomp attacks. Okay, some creatures are so massive that their sheer bulk is a threat all on its own. The number of stomp attacks called varies, blah, 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 shown in the brackets. Resolving stomp attacks. Stomp attacks can only be made by a model that is in base contact with the enemy. Stomp attacks are attacks made in a combat that always strike at initiative 1, and they hit automatically using the unmodified strength of the model. Is that it? So their initiative 1 hit automatically. That's basically what it was in 8th edition. But it says unmodified strength characteristic. Unmodified. Okay. Sorry for just looking puzzled. I'm just... If it says you use the unmodified strength of the model, unless that unit entry says something specific towards stomp, you know how like all weapons have like AP now or whatever? If the model's unit entry doesn't have something specific towards stomp, does that mean the stomp has no like armor cutting value? So if you're strength 6 and you have stomp, are you just stomping at strength 6 with no AP? Okay. Now maybe in the rulebook it actually talks more about stomp attacks, because in 8th edition you couldn't stomp cavalry, monstrous infantry, or other monsters. But if I assume there's going to be more than just this, because in this case, okay, so in older editions you could stomp only certain things, but strength modified your. Okay, interesting. Wait, princes and kings just have a flat up 5-up regen? What? Did I miss that? You serious? So that means they have like probably a 3-up, 4, maybe a 4-up armor save. They get a 5-up regen, and then they can get a ward save? Yikes, that'll be super tough to chew through. Holy crap. Okay. I like that. Stomp's going to be weird. I'm going to have to get the rulebook on that one. Okay. 10. Vanguard. It used to be like before the game started, you just get like a free move. After deployment, units of the special rule may move using Vanguard. Yep. Unit makes its Vanguard moves. Basically, cannot march. Okay, so if you're movement 6 and you have Vanguard, you get a free 6-inch move before the game starts. If you're a movement 9 with Vanguard, like a Elven Steed, then you just get a free 9-inch move before the game starts. And then just like with Scout, you're rolling off to see who Vanguard's first. Usually better to Vanguard first, because then you move whatever unit closer to the enemy Vanguard, so then they're stuck. Actually, no, it doesn't say that. Hold on. You used to not be able to Vanguard within 12 inches of an enemy. But it doesn't say that here. And nowhere does it say, like the Scout thing, if you Vanguard, you can't charge. What? Come on, they have to say that. So you can Vanguard and then charge? I don't like that. If you Vanguard and then you go first, you then charge. So hopefully in the rulebook they get rid of that. I think they said you have to stay away in the bat rep itself. Okay, good, because that'd be kind of ridiculous. Did it say? Do you know? Did it say that you can't charge just like Scout? Okay. If it doesn't say that, that's gross. Because if you're fast cav, let's say you're Wild Riders, and if let's just say all fast cav get Vanguard, I'm gonna Vanguard 9. I'm going first, so I'm what 15 inches away from you. My movement 9 plus my swift stride and everything else. I'm charging turn 1. Yikes! Yeah. Hopefully they clarify that. Hopefully, because that would be gnarly, and I don't want that. All right, this is the last one. Volley fire. This may have even been covered in one of the articles. When you with the special rule makes a shooting attack, half of the models in each rank other than the front rank. Oops. Yeah, y'all can see I'm gonna see my face. Why not? Okay. Half the models in each rank other than the front rank, or front 2 ranks if the unit's on a hill, right? Rounding up can shoot. In addition to the usual models that can shoot from the front rank, front 2 ranks, on a hill, blah, blah, blah. A unit cannot volley fire if it has moved for any reason during this turn, including reforming or when making a stand and shoot charge reaction. Okay, so since it rounds up, let's say you're not on a hill, you would want to be 7 wide. I mean, you could be 5 wide. Like if you're 5 wide, the front rank shoots 5, the second rank shoots 3, so you're shooting 8 shots. That's pretty good. If you're on a hill and you're only 5 wide and you only have 2 ranks, well then they all get to shoot, because you can shoot in 2 ranks. So if you're 5 wide and you're 3 deep, then you're shooting 13 shots out of your 15 guys. Not bad. I've always liked volley fire. Seems good. Note that models in the rear ranks use the line of sight of the model at the front rank, of course. And that's it. That's all I have for y'all today. Any questions? Anything y'all are excited for? The pre-order is the 6th, which is in 3 freaking days. So get your pre-orders in. I have no idea how many like box sets they're going to be making. So I would get it if you're even thinking about it. I assume the prices have been shown from your local game stores. They seem to reasonably priced for it's a ridiculous amount of models, plus a rule book, plus dice, plus basically everything you need except the specific army books. But you have the rule books, you have the reference sheets, you have the templates. I'm excited, so I think getting at least the problem. I wish they'd release a little bit more because there's going to be so many Tomb Kings and so many Bretonnian players. So hopefully after they start releasing some more models, people will pick up other armies because I don't want to only play against those 2 armies. I love them both, don't get me wrong, but you want some diversity. You don't want to just play against the same armies. Are you going to stream how to play this Saturday? Sadly, I cannot stream this Saturday. I will stream the following Saturday, though. I can stream on the 13th. Cannot stream this Saturday. That's all I can say. Do you think the Tomb King's Grand Army composition list on Saturday when the pre-order... Wait, what'd you say? Do you think we'll see the Tomb King's Grand Army composition list on Saturday when the pre-order embargo lifts? They didn't show the Tomb King one? Really? I thought they did. Or maybe maybe in the live stream I was just guessing. I feel like I was ready for this. Or I was just guessing. Wow. I was thinking and reading Crusader thing out loud. What time is it? Yeah, it's already 9. Okay. They only showed the Brett one. Really? Okay, I must have missed that. Can we ask about Arcane Journals on Saturday? Not to me. So there will be plenty of people who will be live streaming. I expect them to. Or if not live streaming, posting videos on Saturday. So I can't do anything on Saturday, but I can the following Saturday, so the 13th. So since pre-orders are on the 6th, you expect those to be fulfilled anywhere from like, at least for 40K, it's like you pre-order 1 week and then it's out the week after or the week after. So I expect within 1 to 3 weeks of the pre-order, which is in 3 days, that all the rules and they'll be delivered to the game stores, and then people can pick them up and start reading the rules and dissecting and do it, building models, all that stuff. So when that day happens, at Battlegrounds, I will be hosting a game day / demo day for everyone to just like get all your boxes. Everyone's going to be reading the rule books. We might play like everyone takes maybe an hour or 2, reads the rules that they can. I'm going to bring my models so everyone can you can just practice maybe like little 500-point games just to get used to how combat works now, how fear works now, how charging works. And there should be a bunch of players that have never played before who have always been interested in Squarehammer but never actually had a chance to because or they just passed by it back in the day. There's also in May 5th through May 8th, there's something called the Richmond Open, which is a new and upcoming. I think this is it's either the 2nd or 3rd year of them doing it. And if the rules come out on time, which I expect it to, they should be out before May by at least a month, right? Several months. I might run a RTT there or GT there, depending on how many people actually are interested in playing. It's cutting it very close in terms of the rules coming out and will there be enough armies for people to actually have. There obviously wouldn't be a painting requirement or anything, but the Richmond Open, you can Google, or not Google, but if you go on Facebook and search away games and you search their profile, you can find that they have the Richmond Open, talks about all about the dates and the tickets, everything like that. It's at the Richmond Coliseum. I didn't get to go last year. There's also but I'm hoping that Adepticon, because they have been having an 8th edition tournament for the past couple years, Will they switch to the old world? I don't know. I hope so. But I think they're waiting to see what the rules are and if enough armies will. It's basically what everyone's doing that's like wants to run tournaments or run events for people. If they don't have enough armies out because either they don't have enough models available for purchase for new players that actually want to get back in, or all the PDF rules aren't released yet, then you're going to have such a small sample size. You're going to have like 6 armies, maybe 7 armies, and there's 30 people there. And no one's going to want to play the same faction like 3 or 5 times, depending on how long the tournament is. So everyone is still kind of waiting to see what GW does. Hopefully they release the PDF sooner rather than later, but I think I'd prefer a little later to make sure that the rules are correct and everything is more balanced, because you don't want to see OP stuff. But I think that's what most people are expecting. If we support it and sell out, the shareholders will demand more old world releases. Think it's going to be a surprise to GW, right? I hope the old world sells out. I hope every single thing that they sell. I hope the separate rule books. I hope the army books, all the cards, all the sleeves, all the dice, all the journals. I hope everything sells out and GW goes like, okay, we put this investment into it already. Everything's sold out. We made a buttload of cash. Let's continue on this roller coaster of releasing, what do they call it? Like the World of Legends. Let's continue doing that, because that would then inspire a lot of people that are sitting on the edge waiting to see if GW just like does this cash cow thing and they actually continue to do stuff. It might inspire them to be like, okay, let's hop in. I have several friends that are looking at printing like high elves and stuff like that because, well, just honestly, all armies. Like, I don't know if GW is going to be able to meet the supply. Yes, there's a lot of people that have their armies still in sheds, garages, whatever, but a lot of those people sold their armies, traded them off, donated them, what have you. And if the old world comes back, which obviously it is, they want to get back in, but they need new stuff. Most people prefer newer stuff that they can rebuild, because then it gets you to like, you fall in love with the miniatures again, right? So I don't know if they're going to have the supply of that, especially if the Age of Sigmar stuff, which I think they talked about in one of the articles, are not going to get some rules, which I think is not the best thing. I think some of the Age of Sigmar models should get rules, because then it pulls in some of the Age of Sigmar players, but whatever. My opinion. And some crazy people burn their armies. Yes, I think it was a Dark Elf player that burned his armies, and he even had some of the newer witches and stuff, so whatever. You're pre-ordering for 3 of my friends. We are going all out. Hell yeah. So keep an eye out. You'll be drunk all weekend of the 20th. Okay, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Wait, they confirm a release day? Where do they confirm a release day as the 20th? Yeah, Spaceport. Basically anything with anything that has old world models that are like still in Age of Sigmar stuff, those will probably get purchased very quickly. The pre-order article really says the 20th? You serious? Okay, well, oh, then I must have missed that. Okay, well, cool. Well, then the rules are coming out on the 20th, so pre-order on the 6th and get your stuff on the 20th. So, but I spoke to the LGS, and he said the best weekend is probably going to be the last weekend of January if it's out by then, because all the other weekends are picked up by tournaments and stuff. So I will do some streaming next Saturday for basically stuff. I can't talk about it, but basically I will be streaming the 13th, just for a little bit, talking about things and showing things off, and then on the 27th, which I guess is the last Saturday of January, that gives people a week to read the rules, ask questions, build some models, maybe a unit and a character. And even if that's all people have, a character and a unit or something, that's cool. And then I'll bring my stuff so people can use it. And then on the 27th, I'm going to do a demo day, game day. And I'm going to try and live stream some of it. I don't know how the Wi-Fi is going to be there or what have you, but that's the plan. So guys, thanks for joining. Like and subscribe. If you have any other questions, either post it here or message it to me on Squarehammer. We do have a Discord now. I'll put it. You know what? I'm gonna share the Squarehammer Discord link. Haha! Come on, Discord. Now it's very small. It's just for us, just shooting the shit, basically. I hope y'all. I try not. This isn't like a. I'm not gonna talk about that. Let's see. Squarehammer. Invite people. This is when show member list. Trying to invite people. Why won't it let me copy? Aha, I got it. Hey. I think the first one has a period at the end. But basically that is the Squarehammer Discord where I'll be posting all sorts of stuff, trying to just chat with fellas. But I think that's about 2 hours now, so that's good. If they release some more articles before the pre-order gets filled, I'll probably do another live stream. We can just shoot the shit a little bit more. And I'm looking forward to filming bat reps for y'all. I love filming bat reps. It takes a long time to do, but it's always fun to see people's reactions and having a good time with it. So, peace. Stay square. I will post. Oh, we're also doing like t-shirts and mugs and all sorts of other crap. So keep posting on that. Bye, guys.